Hello, everybody. So today we're talking about what we've been up to, right? What we're building in your system. And I always love to say that we are powered by property managers and we have a system that's built for property managers. So we're going to be diving into the tools we're requesting and the solutions that we need or you need. First, let's introduce ourselves, right? So if you don't know, my name is Kyle. I've had the privilege of working at Streamline for some time now. Very good chance I may have sold you a Streamline software system at some point. I also have experience actually being a vacation rental property manager, learned how hard it was, learned how not fun it is in certain aspects, and I learned how important technology is for sure. Also have experience in the hotel world, so excited to share some of our experiences with you today. Emily, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Emily. Been with Streamline going on 4 years now. I am working on the consulting side, selling Streamline today, but my first 3 years at Streamline, I actually helped lead the customer service side. So I've talked with a lot of you before. I'm happy to see a ton of familiar faces here. And I've worked with people from California to New York to Florida, Canada, Mexico. So a lot of you guys have different setups, different ways that you operate and run your business. And I think a few things that we'll kind of dig into today is the reason that we have so much flexibility within Streamline, right? Because each of you guys do operate in that way. I'll let you kind of dig into what we're going to be talking about.
So for the agenda, right? This pretty simple, to be honest with you. The three main sections that we're going to be going over. First, you asked for it and we built it. And we love this. You know, we have an ideas world in Streamline. If you have ideas, we want to hear them. So we're going to go over exactly what you asked for and then what we built. Another thing that the team at Streamline does is go over these ideas, right? So as far as the second agenda item, you asked, we already have it. This is great news, right? You guys ask or give us ideas and it's like, oh, we already got it. Maybe you just don't know it exists yet. So we're going to be going over a couple of those things that are sort of asked for a lot that we already have. And we're also going to be going over sort of how to figure out what Streamline has and doesn't have from that perspective. And then, you asked, we're building it. We're never done with our software. We're always going to try to be very aggressive with innovation and development, right? So we're going to be going over some things that are coming soon. Hopefully you guys can get excited about that. And always we're going to be going into, Q&A, area at the very end so we can address some questions directly. If they're not addressed directly here today, we will make sure we'll be reaching out to you and addressing them in one way or another. 100%. We also have some quizzes and questions coming up, so we'd love it if you could answer those as they pop up on your screen. But first, we're going to dive into some things that, you asked for and we straight up built it. First is reputation management, right? I'll be showing you some of the system, next, but reputation management is a huge upgrade that we've gotten. So prior to this, you could only basically manage your own reviews in your Streamline system. And then you'd have to go outside of that environment into Airbnb and Vrbo to do it. So this has been coming for a while. It's been in beta for a while. It's been tested a bunch. It's now live, ready to rock and roll. So reputation management is essentially your ability to manage all your reviews from Vrbo, Airbnb, and your own website directly inside Streamline. Responding to those reviews and then deciding which reviews are actually going to be pushed to your own website if they allow it, or you can decide which reviews are going to be pushed over to like the owner's portal. And we do find a lot that, sometimes it's even a negative review that you'd like that owner to see, right? Because we're not the only ones telling you that maybe your furniture is outdated or we need some updates in other areas. Well, Emily, you go ahead on the next one.
All right. Gap logic. And again, you asked, we built it. So we get this question a lot and we wanted to make sure everybody on this call knows that this exists. It's a thing. It's active in Streamline. So for gap logic, when I'm thinking about my tape chart, my calendar for a unit, and maybe I don't know, we'll go with a 5-night minimum. What gap night looks at on your calendar is if I get a reservation and maybe it's my traditional, it beats my 5-night minimum at 7 nights. And then I get another reservation, same thing. Maybe it's a 5-night. However, it leaves this little gap, we call them orphan nights in Streamline, on the calendar of maybe it's 4 days. So technically, if I'm not using gap logic, I'm not going to appear anywhere. It's not going to show up on my website, VRBO, Airbnb. It won't push anywhere. Using gap logic, if your owner is willing to take a reservation that's less than that minimum night, right? Because otherwise you're getting no money whatsoever from it. I can go at a unit level, or I can go and just say, this is my universal rule and say, Well, if the availability between reservations is less than my minimum night, I'm going to automatically open the calendar. And that's what we're referring to as the gap night logic. So you can fill those gaps without having to manually go into Streamline and adjust the minimum night for that grouping, because that just takes up so much time. You guys, we see like folks up their revenue with this tool so often. It's definitely one that if you're not using it today, 1000% take a look at it. And again, if you don't want to use it on all of your units, you don't have to. It can be done at a unit level. Hal, I'll kick it
Awesome.
back to you.
Yep. So Airbnb payment automation is another huge upgrade that we've gotten, right? So prior to this, again, Airbnb is always our sort of outlier in the sense that they're going to be your merchant of record. So Airbnb is going to send you a big old check for a bunch of reservations, and then you would have to pull that report and streamline of all your Airbnb reservations that need money. And then, very similar to sort of like a bank reconciliation process, you're assigning those monies to each reservation and as you work yourself down to zero. Manual process, not fun. That manual process is gone with Airbnb's payment automation. So, really, really big upgrade and really leaning into that efficiency side of things. So, I always like to say when we're building things that streamline, we're trying to maximize your revenue or we're trying to maximize your efficiency. My mouse is disappearing. So here we go. Next one is bulk update tool, right? So another area that's going to continue to expand. So this has been around for a little bit, but we're building more to it in the sense that, you want to bulk update a whole building, whether or not it's got a new upgraded pool or new amenities or whatever it might be. So whether it's changing to, rates really easily, which we've always had, but there's other ways to change like rules, listings, all kinds of other areas you can do in bulk updates. I'll be diving into the system to show you where exactly to do this right after Emily talks about some new tax application options.
I know everybody loves accounting, so I wanted to make sure that we definitely talked about all the fun stuff coming out. No, but realistically, there are massive implications to even messing up one reservation. So I'm very excited for the tax tool that came out. If you ever, and this is kind of across the board, we all are impacted by this at some point. If you have a county tax or a state tax and they're telling you, hey, on September 1st or at this point in the year, that's going to be bumped up 1%. That's going to be bumped up 0.5%. In the past, you were able to use period logic to say, okay, any new reservations that are booking across each states, let's right, bump those taxes. What you can do now is you can set a button within the tax itself when you're doing this update that says not only is this going to impact current reservations or new reservations that are coming into the system, but if I've already taken reservations through November and December and January, instead of having to manually go in and update every single one of those reservations, I can press a button and it's going to update future reservations as of X date. So one, I can use that period logic to say, here's the date that that tax is changing. And two, let me just go ahead and get a clean sweep of all of my reservations in one go. To that effect, right? That's more so for you guys internally and then for the guest side. The other things from an accounting standpoint that are really exciting, brand new, is in the owner area. So this is going to be on the owner statements, or for those of you who are using OwnerX, we recently added a little, you probably start seeing it in owner charges or when you're doing work orders for property care. It's a little like add receipt button. So now you can start adding invoices and those will actually appear attached again in OwnerX in the owner statement. So that was a massive one. Kyle will be going into the system shortly and we'll talk a bit more about rolling blocks as well for those of you that have super, super fun HOA regulations like a lot of us in Florida. So Kyle, I'll kick it back to you for system.
Yeah, so diving into the system real quick. First, I wanted to show you we can go to tools and then go into vacation rentals and you'll see this bulk update button. If that's not there, let us know. We could turn it on, right? But I can go in and it basically just walks you through a process. First, I'm going to choose which properties I want to bulk update. Then I walk through the process and just choose what exactly I want to update. Now, again, there's not a ton of options as far as what we can bulk update from here right now, but we're just going to continue to add more and more bulk update options. And then to show off the rolling block situation, and while we're here, I'm very visual. We have all these annoying little gaps that Emily was talking about earlier. These are perfect examples of where we can use the gap logic and reach out to either end of the reservation to say, hey, do you want to come stay a day late, come a day early? I'm not going to do that for over here because we have a bunch of room to book, right? But over here, let's make that available on all the OTAs at maybe a discounted rate, or try to, reach out to either end of the reservations as well. And then Em, did you want to talk about rolling blocks a little bit here from a visual perspective?
Yeah, so rolling blocks, and the reason that we added this, and again, if any of us have worked with HOAs in the past, regulations are, they're just getting more and more strict, unfortunately. So we've added rolling blocks. You don't have to use them, but for those of you that have an HOA where maybe you're not able to take a reservation if it's within X days of booking, I'll tell you, like, right down the street for us, we do have one. And once 10 days before booking hits, absolutely no more reservations can come into the system. So what folks were doing before is they put an availability block 10 days and then they'd move it by 1 day every single day. So what you're able to do now, if you go into restrict availability, Kyle will pull it up in a second. You can have as many as you want, and you'll see under the type you have a static one, which is, it's just a block. It's going to be a block there. That's it. And the rolling block is the one that's going to auto adjust. So as you create, and we can go into one, yep, there's a little button, rolling block. You'll set how many days, and then the block will continue to roll from today plus X days chosen. So in my example, right, I can pick specific units. I can set it to end on a specific date as well. So definitely a big uplift there.
Yep. And then more things that, we're building into the whole world of AI is absolutely nuts, right? I actually just got back from a conference where, AI already blew my mind anyway when ChatGPT was created a few years back, and it can write, poems about my dog and all kinds of cool things. But now diving into the business sense, it's really wild. So we're integrating with a bunch of AI companies. We will be talking about, AI built right into the software as well, but highly suggest you reach out to some of our new partners. They're doing some cool stuff like AI Adaptive, Betsy AI, Conduit, some great options you might want to reach out to. And again, you can find these things right inside our Streamline marketplace here. So moving back into our presentation here, we're going to go out of, you asked, we built it. Now we're talking about you asked, cool, we already got it for you, right? A couple of things we're going to dive into here is, I'm going to steal your thunder and talk about custom reservation fields first, Emily, and then you could talk about that.
You got it.
So something, we talk to property managers all the time, right? And a lot of them have some pretty unique needs within a particular reservation field. Most of it, that I talk to is really tied into like how well you want to take care of your customers or how much information you need about those customers. So it's like I just spoke to someone, they're picking their clients up from the airport. So during, post booking, but pre-stay, they're reaching out to the guests saying, okay, can you give me your flight information? And I'm going to keep an eyeball on it, because if you're delayed, you don't need to let me know. I'll take care of it. So what they did was create custom reservation fields in their Streamline system for flight information. You could do the same for, driving, the car information in a lot of parking situations. Let me know what kind of car you're driving so you don't get towed. We only have so many parking spots. A million options from this perspective as far as custom reservation fields, but something you might want to look into if things are, running around in your mind right now as far as stuff you might be able to utilize. Emily, I'll let you go ahead.
Cool. To the custom reservation fields really quick, you can also, sorry if I missed this, Kyle, you can also link these to StreamSign Pro for rental agreements, and those can come back into your reservations automatically. So that's a cool piece.
I did not mention that. That's a great addition. So thank you.
Just a quick note there. Custom trigger logic, again, not new, but people have been asking. So we have, if you go to communications and you look at your triggers, 200 plus options. And that's if you don't count all of the different flags you can trigger on as well. So there's a ton. And when people think about triggering, I feel like it always links to, well, what can I automate for the guest side? Or what can I automate and send the owner? But with custom trigger logic, yes, of course, automate more for the guests, for the owners, but also start thinking about your team. Start thinking about the housekeepers and the maintenance folks and your front desk, things that you can, again, just automate those flows for. For the triggers, you can set it up in a few ways. I can say trigger if I hit trigger 1 or trigger 2. So either or, if those scenarios come up, boom, send an email. Or what I can do is I can put together a list of triggers, and that document is only going to send if that entire list hits. So again, think about how you can start automating yes from the front end, owner's guess, but again, for your internal team.
Awesome. So again, we're going to go backwards too. So custom users and access, we get asked for or about this a ton. Random little things like I have a housekeeper that only needs access to this unit, but not that unit. Or, can we just straight up customize what my new employees are able to see from like a reporting perspective? Can I have it so that they have access to it, but they can't click it? So it's sort of like a read-only situation. All of those are completely doable in Streamline. Now, we have the hard-coded sort of user types that are already there that actually work for a ton of our companies, that it's already set up that way. They have different levels of access. That can be great if utilized. But if you really need to get granular, you can create your custom user type, and then from every little nook and cranny of the system, you can decide if they have access to it or if they can just read it, meaning not change it, or have full access to it, be able to adjust anything you want. And again, if this worries you, we do have those timestamps all over the system. So if you create a user that can do everything, and then they go in and create discounts and change pricing and do all the things, you're going to be able to know what they did, right? So that's not a worry from that perspective. And then again, into the exciting word of accounting, Emily's going to talk about our owner statement builder.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times as we go through Streamline training, or honestly any transition, there's so much happening at once that sometimes things that may not be top priority kind of get left behind. So something that you've always had access to it is our owner statement builder. And again, it's a feature that's just underutilized. So what this is you can go in for your month-end statements, and I might say, we'll start at the top. The top piece. Maybe I want to add my logo and my unit name, contact us form, make it as pretty as you want. Or maybe I put the unit and that's it. The point is you have options and you can completely customize the statement. As we go through kind of the center, the reservations, the account summary, same deal. If we don't want a specific line to show, like you don't do owner reserves, cool, we take that line off. Or we understand it as owner reserves, but the owner maybe wanted to just see like owner minimum balance. If you just want to change the verbiage a little bit, not take it out completely, but tweak it, cool. Again, that's what the owner statement builder is for. One more area, I see it again, kind of hit or miss, and Kyle can probably speak to this too, but there's an option for you to start adding tags for owner statistics. So again, totally depends on the relationship that you have with your owner, right? Maybe adding more is going to add more questions for you, or adding more is going to be like, okay, they don't have to reach out to me right now. So you can also play around with a third kind of bottom piece with adding statistics and graphs, like maybe owner occupancy versus guest occupancy, and then total kind of broken out.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Occupancy percentage is a great one we see a lot. But again, this is where, every market we've found is significantly different as far as what owner expectations are. So how does Streamline build a homeowner builder, an owner statement builder that can service all kinds of different random requests from across the country and even into other countries. So that's why we've built it, make it your own. We totally understand that there's different vernacular and jargon being spoken out there, depending on what market you're in. And then even within your owner groups, there's different owners that are sort of, let's be a little more transparent with them or less transparent with the others. We're finding it's fantastic, right? We have ACH payments to owners, right? That's fantastic. I would love it. I don't know why anyone would want anything other, but there absolutely are owners out there that just want their check printed, and that's totally okay. But anyway, we can separate those and take care of you from that perspective as well. So the next one is, we realize that Streamline is a really, robust, complex software. And I've noticed over the years that the companies that are really most successful with Streamline are the companies that know the most about Streamline and really lean into it from an education perspective. So I really wanted to go over a lot of different ways you can learn about, what the Streamline software can do for you, what features we do or do not have, all the things, right? So the first one, and I'll dive into the system next here and show you, but company variable settings is huge. We have 1 million back-end variable settings and a bunch that we're now pushing forward to our clients. Then, of course, we have Streamline University. We have our knowledge-based system. We have webinars that we do that are kind of exactly like what we're doing right now, is throwing webinars about different areas of the system. And then I'll show you our theme updates and then talk about our summit. So diving into the system, I love, again, it's a busy system. There's a lot of links and buttons because there's a lot of different features we've built out. This magnifying glass search filter up here is my favorite. search for anything you want. So I'll search for company variable settings first, if I could spell company variable. There we go. So, again, these may or may not be relevant to you at all. So, ignore it, right? But we highly recommend you come in and look at the different areas of the system like accounting, general, housekeeping, lead management. And within each of these, there's various variables that we've created that you may or may not want to turn on, but it's essentially ways that you can bend the system to your needs, in every nook and cranny of the system. We always have Streamline University. I really hope that you guys have access to that and look into it. But I also love the knowledge base. And this is something that we're continuing to work on. We realize that there may be some outdated articles in here, but we're just constantly coming in here and trying to be at the top. From you can come in here and ask us anything at all about Streamline. So like we talked about the Airbnb auto payments. You can just type in Airbnb auto, and here's an article about how does the Airbnb auto payment feature work, and what to do to turn it on, and step-by-step instructions on everything. And then I wanted to talk about the themes. You notice like the little icon down here, right? About every quarter, we do a pretty large release in the sense that I'll exit out of there. And in this latest release, we've called it the Pegasus release, right? But in the past, we've had like the Bumblebee release and the Dragon release. So you can come in here as a Streamline user and see everything that we've done to enhance our system, from communication, homeowner acquisition, stream phone. Our friends at Vrbo and Airbnb are forever on this because we're going to be updating right behind them. So great feature that, great process, I guess, we've built out over the last several years to have a pretty big release and then to be able to present it to our clients in a clean way like this.
And quick tip, guys, because again, from the customer service side, I heard it all the time of like, gosh, we didn't even know something came out. So like, I highly, highly encourage you, have someone on your team, like assign one person. You are the person to look at accounting every single quarter. You are the person that looks at reservations every single quarter. Or again, maybe you have 3 or 4 people on your team. Someone take quarter 1, someone take quarter 2, 3, and 4, but make sure someone has eyes on this because we have a lot of really cool stuff that's come out, and as you're about to see on the roadmap too.
Yeah, great comment. Well, in the tech world, we call them SMEs, so subject matter expert. So yeah, assign someone like, okay, you're the SME on Streamline for reservations. When new cool things come out having to do with reservations, it's on you to sort of learn them and then come back and teach the team and how it's relevant to us and how do we want to use them. So yeah, I love that idea. The other one I wanted to mention is our Streamline Summit. You can always go to our website, streamlinesummit.com, to get all the information. In our world, September 16th is like tomorrow, right? It is basically here. We're at Streamline really, really excited about this event. This is our marquee event every year. 500, 600, 700 people are planning to show up, I think. For the first time, it's out in Jacksonville, Florida. So hopefully a lot more of our friends on the east side of the country can come join us. But the common denominator here is that everyone is using Streamline, right? So like I said at the very top of the call, we have a very complex, robust system. You can come in and take educational sessions. We have a lot of roundtable discussions, or you can just chat with people and network about, hey, how are you doing this in Streamline, or how are you doing that in Streamline? We also have some fun. We're known to throw a pretty good party. It's all for a great benefit. We're not making any money here. We're raising money for charity, having some fun, and then teaching you about Streamline. Not to mention there's some great face-to-face time with, Streamline employees and Streamline clients that we love to see every year. All right, so back into our slide deck here. The last section is you asked and we're building it. And again, continue to ask about what you want, because that's how we've built out this awesome system that we have today, is building stuff that you've been asked for. So first, I'll talk about expanded Airbnb, Vrbo, and OTA tools, right? We have just launched reputation management. We just launched fairly recently before that, like Vrbo messaging. So now we can write inside, Streamline, everyone that's writing us about Vrbo and Airbnb. Other extended tools that are on the roadmap. And again, these are quite complicated. I just want to be transparent about that. But we're building the ability to manage all the different changes in Streamline. So you can cancel reservations, alter reservations, view the transaction history, including the resolution center payments and all those add-ons that now we have to sort of figure out a way to do separately. And again, we're going to continue to add more and more of these OTA, tools, as we move forward.
And Mandy, to answer your, sorry, I saw Mandy had a question pop in earlier, just a heads up on those auto payments for Airbnb. That resolution center that we're working on, that's going to answer your question. So yes, eventually it will be coming, but again, on the roadmap, we're building it.
Yeah, thank you.
For my reservationists, my people that are doing marketing, a lot of folks I think who are actively really utilizing the guest browser side of Streamline. Maybe you've noticed that when you go try and add a note about the guest, you can't do it directly from the reservation, which we heard you. It's been incredibly frustrating. So we're building it. What you're going to be able to do is from the reservation in the communication section, maybe Kyle, again, found out Kyle's dog's name's Hippo. Want to add that to my notes. Found out he's got a brother, they have, 2 kids, little things that, again, yes, AI is the new big thing, but we're in hospitality, you're going to be talking to people. We want you to be able to easily add these types of things to your guest profiles. So that's being built out. And then from a marketing standpoint, some of you, I don't know that everyone here is using guest traits, honestly. And it's a totally customizable area where you can pick things like behavior, or maybe you want to make a specific marketing list. Like Kyle loves golf. So anytime there's, someone who's a golfer, maybe I want to select a guest trait and auto send an email of all the courses nearby, or some of the people I partner with specifically. If you're in my family, we always ask the property manager for the best local restaurants, not like the Michelin star, but like the hole in the wall places that we need to go hit. Like put all of that into your Streamline system and start adding it. We're making it easier for you, I promise.
Yeah, great points. And again, the guest notes we're talking about are unique and streamlined, because if you have the same first name, last name, and email address, it's going to recognize that person as a repeat guest.
Yeah.
And what you can do is add guest notes that really follow the guest from reservation to reservation. So we know a ton of you have a lot of great repeat guests. Like Emily said, it's just putting those notes in there so we can recognize them and continue to build that rapport with them. And again, right now it's annoying because I have to go out of the reservation and into other areas of the system in order to add that guest note. And moving forward, it'll be a lot easier for you to do so. So again, more ideas on stuff that you guys tell us. So tell us if you feel like a button should be there where it's not, or if you feel like a button should be somewhere where it, get easier to access to it. Continuing down this road of what we're building, Emily's going to talk about our inbox.
And then I know some of you guys are getting antsy, so please stay tuned. I cannot wait for you to see what Kyle's going to show you on the upgraded UX UI. So before then, unified inbox. I think everyone here knows today we have what we call the focused inbox. And it's interesting because originally we had a unified inbox, which means everything came into one place, couldn't really separate it out. And then half the people were like, oh no, I want a focused inbox, which means I have a place for my email and my text and Airbnb and VRBO kind of split up. And that's kind of the nice thing about Streamline is we're making it so you can do both. Like we've heard you. So even if 50% of the people want to do focused inbox and the other half you want to do unified inbox, it's coming down the line. Unified inbox, like I said, it's going to put everything into one single place. So if you are on the road and you just want to see my chain all together in one area, cool, you can have that. You will be able to also have your unified inbox turned on at the same time as your focus. So if you have some teammates that like one and then some that like the other, we don't have to pick one side, but more fun stuff. I'll kick it off to you, Kyle.
Yeah, perfect. So upgraded UI UX, right? So this is something throughout our Streamline history. I think for a while we were heads down focused on functionality. Let's build out more of our software's functionality that people are asking for. We're in a new world today with a lot of different softwares out there, and they all look fantastic, if I'm being honest with you. So what softwares normally do is start with a fantastic UI UX and then try to go build the functionality, which is the hard part, in my educated opinion. What we've been doing here is focus on the functionality. And now we've taken a look back and like, whoa, we need to update our functionality. Or excuse me, we got the functionality. We're updating our UI UX. So to give you a sneak peek, like we have the tape chart coming, right? We have all the functionality in the tape chart already, but we've focused on updating that for you. The other thing, throughout the whole entire system, we're updating different dashboards. So one of the dashboards is like the CEO dashboard. We have a particular version of this already today, but giving it a facelift in a sense that up here, I have particular check-ins today versus tomorrow, month to date, year to date, what checkouts I have today, same vernacular here, what new bookings we have, what's my current ADR, how's my pacing, What's my total occupancy look like? What's my rental revenue breakdown look like? This is something I probably have a conversation about on every one of my, discovery calls or demo calls. Like, what's your split between Airbnb and the other OTAs and direct revenue? What's my month to date and annual revenue? What's my sales pacing? What kind of work orders I got going on? So really from like a CEO perspective, again, our general reservationist is not going to have access to this, right? But top level employees would love access to stuff like this. Then we have a reporting dashboard. So right now, right, I click on reports. We've built a million amazing reports. I love our reporting section, but you click on it and you just see a million different, words of different reports. So this is trying to, again, upgrade the interface and just make it look a lot better for you. And this looks incredible to me. So one, per user, what generated reports we have, what revenue booking summary reports we have. The reservation flag reports is huge. Reservation flags is something I talk about on every one of my calls as well. Custom flags based on all kinds of different actions that you can get from here, including a flag action report. Depending on how you use flags, if I need to drop off that barbecue or turn on that pool heat, those are flags I can look up from a report on things I need to action today. And then checked in report, checked out report. I can click into these. Again, these are all hyperlinked into these reservations. So, if I need to go into that unit or that particular reservation for something that's, spotlighted on this report, I can very easily do so. Other favorite reports and employee revenue breakdowns and other things you can put on this reporting breakdown. And then we have the property care dashboard, right? So we're going to have an accounting dashboard, communication dashboard, maybe RevMax dashboard's already there, but I love this look of the property care dashboard, right? So just looking at, okay, who do we have checked out today? Who's checking out? But more importantly, who has a late checkout or who has an early check-in, depending on part of the day. I'm only worried about who has an early check-in. If people are checking in later, I'm not worried about you yet. But these early check-ins, making sure that the units are ready, any extra things I need to pay attention to, I can easily click into these. Total cleans, as far as like how my day is progressing, right? So if your folks are out there in the field using our property care app and, I'm a cleaner and I hit complete, and then we've had the inspection done, it'll fall off this report as we're updating throughout the day. So hopefully this number is diminishing and there's a certain, time in your day when if this number is big, then we need to, figure something out. All your cleans, same day arrivals or next day arrivals, again, just diving into certain reports and what you might be focused on. If I'm only looking at same day arrivals or, the turn days with 0 turn days, then this report is most important to me. Until they're done, then we can look at all the other cleans. Same with work orders, right? You might want to just look at vacant properties and that have a work order tied to it. So if I'm a maintenance man driving around town, if I have a critical work order, I can look at it here and do all my critical work orders. But if I'm sort of looking for something to do, there's always something to do for maintenance guys, right? I can then go look at all my vacant properties and see which ones have work orders that are currently open and go in and work on those. Again, this is just a dashboard, so it can look different per user. And that's a lot of the stuff that we're, building out as far as the dashboards go. There was one more thing I wanted to mention actually, I think you already mentioned it, huh, Em? Adding the receipts to the month-end statements. I think you just mentioned it. So
Yeah, I did, but it can't go in there.
just to say again, we get asked for it a lot, right? When I'm
Yeah.
running my month-end statements and we have a work order tied to it, just put the receipt tied to that work order attached to that month-end statement. So instead of having to go into the owner portal and get that information, the owners can see that receipt right then and there. Might get complicated if you guys do markups and things like that, but again, if you're transparent with the owner, it should be all good.
And I got approval to say this, so it's okay. I can get a drum roll, and our dashboard should be out by Summit, you guys, because I see the questions rolling in. Dashboards should be out by Summit.
Yes, I should have mentioned that myself. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's the idea is like we're really working hard. You can already see that they're like designed and built out in different areas, but we're now moving them into production. We're getting them into, beta testing and other things like that before you ever really see them. Another big upgrade that, to be really frank, when I started at Streamline, we would release something and just release it. And you would like find a new button in your system that you didn't know about. That's no longer the case here at Streamline. We're excited about being a lot more organized and getting you that important information as it comes through.
Yeah, Kyle, I'm gonna put you on the spot actually. Can you go back to that homepage? I
Yeah.
forgot to mention this. On this homepage, as Kyle was talking about custom user groups, you guys know the reports that you guys are in, day out. So if we go to the bottom right here, you'll also see a My Link section a little bit lower in orange. Yep. And that, go ahead, put all your favorite links for your user specifically right there. Sorry, I forgot to mention it. And I feel like a lot of folks aren't utilizing it yet. So quick highlight.
Yeah, good thing to mention.
Cool.
So I believe that is the end of our presentation. I wanted to bring it up to Q&A. Can you guys, oh, I'm showing the wrong thing, aren't I?
Yeah, sure.
Where do I switch? Oh no, I'm freaking out. I don't know how do I get back to the
You're fine. Can you, if you scroll through like you were doing before,
scroll through?
or honestly, you could just stop sharing. I think
That's a good idea.
we're good.
Anyway, here's our summit. If you're interested in going to our summit, check out the QR code. And then we are happy to answer any questions you guys have. I know we're ending a little bit early. It's only like 40-ish minutes into our presentation. But what questions do we have? And I don't have access to that, so I need to go in and see these.
Oh, I see. I think
There's
there's been a lot.
quite a few.
Okay.
We can just go through the top and then run through and see how many we can get through.
Yeah,
Okay.
real quick, Reagan, only because I saw Shane put in a question. I think I saw it a few times.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't see the bulk update tool, I don't know if there's a way for me to show it publicly, but you can put in a ticket and just say enable bulk update tool for me, and our team will be able to do it. It's super quick and you'll be able to see it in your system within like 15, 20 minutes. I know that
I
was a
see
huge.
one. Can you demonstrate custom reservation fields? Let me see where, I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties here. Share, there's Emily, share, Streamline. So I'll go into a random reservation here. Boom, boom. And then down here, you'll see additional reservation fields. So these are ones that we've created, but again, you can come in here and create them as like a form fill out or a drop down or a checkbox,
Yeah.
depending on your needs. And as Emily said, these really do sort of integrate with the other areas of our system. So if you need this information showing up on the Property Care app, or it can show up in our StreamSign Pro world. So as the guest fills in that flight information on their end, as they're signing like StreamSign Pro, it'll update in here automatically. So
Yeah.
like zero manual effort, zero double entry effort, really cool area here. And then to show real quick, the bulk update is I go into tools and then I go into like vacation rentals and then you'll see a bulk update button. But like Emily said, you might need to go into variable settings and turn it on and then give it a minute before you actually see that button. What other questions should we tackle here?
Reagan, I'll let you kind of read down the list.
Sure. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Heather wants to know where can we go to see the reviews for Airbnb in Verbo? And is there a knowledge base article on this?
Yes. So I think you need to turn, Emily, do you submit a ticket to turn reputation management on?
Yeah, you'll submit a ticket. This is like our newest of new release, you guys. So submit the ticket. It's called reputation management. And then again, yep, just like Kyle did, I use that little search bar for like everything. I live in there. So you'll be able to find it that way or under communication. And this is where you're going to see VRBO, Airbnb, and then direct split up.
Yeah, so there's articles on this, there's SLUs on this. We did a webinar on this. You can rewatch. And of course, this is going to be a bunch of, no data, but it's really beautiful. All the reviews are in here. You're responding to the reviews, you're toggling. Our team has done a great job building this out. So
yeah, if you guys look up, I think the last webinar was with, I want to say Justin. Am I right? Am I a liar?
yeah, Justin did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
With Justin, you guys phenomenal. And he talks through the different options that you can do. Maybe you want to turn some things off, turn some things, and then what's coming down the line, because that's just our version 1 of it, right? There's more to come there too.
Yeah, so Stephanie's asking about the dashboards. So by Summit, we're hoping that those are all done. I found the questions, by the way, so now I'm reviewing them.
Okay, Dan is asking regarding early check-in, late checkout flags. How can we get a flag? That
Is
allows
that
for
free?
late.
I know Dan. How's it going, Dan? Email me if you want. I can show you. But essentially, yeah, you go in and create a reservation flag. So if, again, you're just going to dive into a reservation here, Alexander, details. A lot of these flags are already in here, right? So like the generic, early check-in, late checkout stuff. But you can come in here and create flags like a barbecue rental. And again, it's all based on settings, but you can charge for that barbecue rental by putting this flag on. Communication can go out to all kinds of people by putting this flag on. And then creating like things to do, like so actioning actually dropping off that barbecue rental and or creating a work order
Yeah.
right from here. a lot of functionality is available.
And Dan, if you go into that search bar and you type reservation flag, it's going to give you a list of all of your current custom ones. And then you can also start adding from there. Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
The third one down.
Yeah.
Reservation flags, and then you'll be able to also just know once you add a flag to a reservation, you can't delete it. So make sure before posting it live that it's how you want it to work, and then you can start doing it based on specific taxes and fees, specific amenities too.
And then, you might just want to flags report. So it's like pulling, hey, who's all our VIPs that are in-house? If you have a flag for VIP, you can just look up all your VIPs. Or like Pima, kind of pain in my, what's.
Really.
Internally, we just need to know who's causing us issues.
Cool.
What else we got?
There's a good one from Carlos in here. He's asking, are we going to see a broader selection of reports that can be auto-generated and distributed on a recurring timeline? He sees opportunities on this.
Yeah, fantastic question, my man. The quick answer is 100% yes. So a lot of these reports already have them, meaning that you can sort of, schedule them on a cadence, but we will be releasing that sort of feature within reports to a lot more reports moving forward. Yeah, good question.
Great. Okay. Dave is asking, when will the full integration for Booking.com be available like it is for Airbnb and VRBO?
Yeah, so again, just from my perspective, the Booking.com situation has been on an interesting ride for the last like 2 or 3 years, where for a while, all I heard from my, connections in the industry that are actually running vacation rentals is that Booking.com is struggling. It's a lot of fraud. Of recent, I've heard only good things. And I know we've built a lot of, updates into this integration. It's a full direct integration right now. So maybe we can connect on the side, Dave, and see, why, what the issue is right now and why you're not feeling it's like a full connection. But we have it, and it's probably the third or fourth best, like, as far as like a transactions, it's the third biggest integration as far as like the whole ecosystem goes.
Yeah, definitely a whirlwind of a difference. Even in the last 4 years since I've started with Booking.com, like awesome turnaround. I think, Dave, maybe you're talking about when is Booking.com going to be in the lead management area. So I don't have a timeline for that yet, but when Kyle and I get off, I think I know which date this is. I can shoot you an email.
Repka, I know too.
I had a feeling.
Okay, perfect.
I'll triple check for us, Dave.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I misunderstood the question there, Dave. We'll get the right answer to you.
Okay.
A lot of Airbnb and reviews. Again, just friendly reminder, we have to have that turned on in your system. So just submit a request, right? Is that the best way to turn it on, I think?
Yep, just submit a request to enable reputation management. And if you call it something different, a little bit different, they'll know what you're talking about.
So by the way, this is something that we already have, right? You might be seeing some random colors that look unique. This is our current version of the tape chart, right? And this is what's getting an upgrade. But the functionality is not going to change. And what we've done here is highlight our units in different colors. Again, based on needs, I can highlight units in certain neighborhoods or buildings, or highlight units in different like sizes. Like my 2 bedrooms are one color, my 3 bedrooms are another color. And then same with all these reservations. If you don't like this color scheme, completely customizable as far as like what these colors are and how you want to break it up. I'm glad you asked that. That's a cool feature that you can just make this shape chart your own. I also like instead of a slash, you can do a bubble, but based on conversations, I feel like I'm the only ones that like the bubble instead of the slash. I don't know, it just looks better.
I'm total opposite.
Okay. So let us know if you like the bubble or slash. That's important.
This is why we have options.
Where do I find the webinar that Justin did? So on the front page, right, we have these options up here. So one, you can get into our marketplace and learn about those AI companies. And then news and releases. I think the webinars are in here. If not, they're also on add-ons, I think. No, I think it's going to be.
Also, if you guys go to your Streamline University, you can look up.
Oh, also in Streamline University, yeah.
Yeah, you just look up reputation management. The most recent webinar will come out, and then it'll give you some trainings on it too. But I super highly suggest watching the webinar. What else we got?
With Dave, Booking.com integration does not work well. Okay, let's talk. That was an anonymous, so let's work on that.
Cool.
Oh, so you've been with us since 2017, and is there a way you can schedule a one-on-one with a super knowledgeable person? That's something that I believe we're doing again with Summit, and I could be shooting myself in the foot. Might get mad at me or something if I'm wrong. But what we've done is scheduled, like the first day, you can schedule a one-on-one with really anyone you want. So if it's Emily or myself or some of the more famous Streamline employees like Justin or Siraj or Don or anyone you want, you could sit them down for an hour and talk about anything you want.
Side note, if you can't make it to Summit, right? I know it's Jacksonville and maybe you're on West Coast or we're smack dab in September at this point. You can also ask to speak with a client success manager. Again, can't promise it's going to be today, tomorrow, it could be next week, but at least they can do like an analysis of your system to see what you have turned off versus turned on. And it might be, I have that turned off for a reason. Cool, we don't enable that. Or it could be, I have that turned off, I didn't even know it was a thing. So you can definitely submit a ticket to ask for like an analysis to be done too.
There's another great question from Dan. He's asking if there's any timing for the ability to consolidate parent and children reporting into single property report. In other words, can the system add all of the pieces of a property into one sum total? They're currently doing it manually, it looks like, in Excel, and then creating formulas to add this parent-child logic for each property.
Yeah, we have it on the books. It's called roll up. I don't know what the official whatever, but like the roll up logic is on the books. It's not released yet. That will be from the accounting side, and then naturally that flows into reporting. Good question.
Jessica, the colored highlights for units is live now. We can get back to you on how to do that. You could look it up in the knowledge base too, maybe as well. But we can get back to you on that, Jessica Munn. What is the little house flag on the tape chart? Let's see what that was. So here, it's basically just like property flags. So something like info needed on parking, or hey, in this unit, the hot tub is broken, so tell them that it's broken before you rent it, different things like that. We also have like just a straight up notes on top of this tape chart that I can actually book over if I wanted to. We don't see any here, but there is a way to just put a note on it, like over John Draper here, and I could book over it, but it's just a note saying, hey, something about the unit in particular, like there's construction going on, whatever it might be. Good question there.
There's a couple more questions on tape chart that we can roll through now that we have it up. How do you show the bedroom count on the tape chart beside the home name?
Oh, so things like that I think are coming in our upgrade to the UI. Because like
Perfect.
right now I have to click on it and I can get the bedroom count and other just general details, but I would have to manage the details to get more, even all the other information. But moving forward, this whole stripe is going to look different, and I could see, where the reservation came from, like the logo of the OTA or my website, right? And other things. Some of the functionality as far as like how I select units or change units are going to adjust. So instead of, like I just said, I selected a check-in and check-out date, and this big old window pops up with, a crazy amount of information, really. But in the future, I could just like check the price and it won't even bring that up. It'll just tell me what the potential price is. So unfortunately, we can't show too much right now, but I mean, it is going to be a massive upgrade here. What else do we have?
MJ is wondering where in the settings you have to go to customize the colors of these units.
I think it's in the back end of oh shoot, now it's like really on the spot. There's obviously somewhere in here to go do it, but I'm not, my brain neurons are not connecting right now. Do you know on the top of your head, Emily?
I'm with you. I'm trying to remember where the setting is at the unit level. You can set it at the unit level specifically. I need to go.
Property care integrations.
Oh, I'm totally spacing. Well, I will get to you after on how to do it. I know it's like a click of a button, and I'm totally spacing on how to do it.
Sorry about that. We'll get back to you on that one. Sometimes we just can't remember everything.
You stumped the teachers, MJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's see. Okay, for Tracy's wondering, where do you find the webinar that Justin did? I have not been able to find it. There should be, I think it's on Vimeo, and we also post a lot of these webinars on the Streamline blog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going into Streamline University, you can log in and get there for sure.
Yeah, let's see if it might not be posted yet. So what we can do, and I know Reagan, we can get everybody's emails after, is we can.
Yeah, we can just include it in the email that we'll send.
That's perfect.
That's a good idea.
Let's do that.
You guys just get double the information in one email.
Now everybody's getting access to that reputation management webinar. Perfect.
Awesome. Problem solved. Okay. So for all the questions about reputation management, that's solved with a ticket. You submit a ticket to get that turned on.
Yeah. Same with the bulk update. I saw that come in a couple times.
Okay. Ooh, Tracy's wondering, how do you add a property flag?
So this is a perfect example of like Tracy, let's answer that question, because like in Streamline, we want to answer your tickets as fast as possible. So you could submit a ticket asking this, and if we get back to you in like 4 hours, that's fast, super fast for us. But what if you can get that answer like right now? So I just went into knowledge base. How do I create a property flag? And it goes into tools, configuration settings, manage property flags, and then add one. So maybe what was the other question we couldn't answer? How do I change the colors on the tape chart? We can, change unit color. And some of these you have to like, work on the prompt and try to figure out the right article here. I'm not gonna be able to find it, but we'll get back to you on that.
Okay, I think we have time for one more.
Okay.
This is from Julian. Does Streamline have plans to upgrade document triggers to include length of stay requirements? They have a blend of STRs and MTRs in their portfolio, and this could save hours worth of work.
Yeah, I think we should talk on the side, whoever that was, because we already got a lot of it.
Yeah, I believe there's a way to do this today, and I think you're talking about base rules where it's like, 1 to 29 days you can get XYZ message versus 30 days plus get XYZ. So yeah, Reagan, do us a favor, share that email.
Yeah, of
Cool.
course.
Yeah, there's about 7 things that I'm thinking about you could be asking about. So let's make sure we're talking about the same thing.
We're gonna get you taken care of, Julian. We'll reach out to you directly. For everyone whose questions we did not get to, I love how engaged everyone was. Everyone had so many questions to ask us. We will reach out to you individually. And like we said at the top, everyone who registered for this webinar is going to get a recording of the webinar and bonus reputation management webinar. And we'll make sure that everyone gets their questions answered.